Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to explore the rapidly shifting realities of modern business operations. Look, if you're a business owner, a consultant, or an agency leader, you've probably seen them. Those strict, blanket, no AI clauses popping up in client contracts everywhere. And, they sound great on paper. But here's the open secret. They are entirely missing the bigger picture. We're going to unpack exactly why these rigid contracts totally fail in an era of intelligent systems, and more importantly, what a mature, realistic framework actually looks like.
So let's just dive right into this really provocative question. Can a business actually ban AI if it's already living inside the tools your team uses every single day? Because the reality of the modern workspace might just render your current compliance contracts completely unenforceable. Seriously, you might be signing agreements promising a 100% zero AI environment, while simultaneously running your business on software that makes that promise mathematically impossible to keep.
To help navigate all this, we're kicking off a brand new conversation series from eunoiaAI called Brilliantly Agentic. It's specifically designed to help sophisticated professionals navigate the operational realities of an AI-native business world. We aren't here to fearmonger over sci-fi robots, right? We're looking at elegant workflow design, human review, and how you can build absolute, rock-solid trust with your clients.
All right, moving to Section 1, the No AI Illusion.
We really need to dismantle this impossible fantasy that you can just opt out of the ecosystem. It is honestly not possible to guarantee that no AI ever touched a file anywhere unless you literally control every single system and every single vendor in your chain. Promising absolute zero AI exposure is just an illusion now, because your digital ecosystem is so much bigger than just a chatbot.
See, we've moved away from the old way, where AI was a separate, intentional destination, opening a new tab to prompt ChatGPT. Now, it acts as an invisible workflow layer natively embedded inside your workspace, Microsoft 365, your CRMs, research tools, scheduling systems, even your email. It's not a destination anymore. It's the environment itself.
Which brings us to Section 2, AI is already inside.
Let's look at how this embedded reality actually plays out. Even if you explicitly ban your team from writing a prompt, AI exposures still exist everywhere. We're talking about automated threat detection, data loss prevention, or, get this, your SaaS vendor's support team using AI to summarize the help tickets you submit. When you search your system to just find the client file, an AI assistant is often scanning those documents behind the scenes.
And this brings us to a massive blind spot. Actually, it's more like a massive liability. Not used for training is absolutely not the same thing as not processed by Gen AI. Just because Google or Microsoft promises your data isn't training their foundation models doesn't mean their generative AI assistants aren't actively processing your sensitive files to retrieve answers. You still have to manage who and what is looking at your data.
This is exactly why you cannot rely on ordinary email for strict, AI-restricted clients. Email is just inherently messy. Attachments get automatically indexed, contents are cached, inboxes are constantly scanned by security tools, and the data syncs across a dozen endpoints. It is way too automated to guarantee a clean, AI-free data environment. You need a much better strategy than just hitting send and crossing your fingers. So what's the fix? Let's jump to Section 3. A better way, 3 zones.
If outright bans are failing us, we need to shift the conversation from a binary yes or no to creating structured boundaries. The answer is adopting a client data and AI use policy with 3 distinct zones. Think of it like building fences. You've got AI-free or restricted zones for super-sensitive materials, then AI-controlled zones allowed only in approved enterprise tools, and finally, AI-enabled zones for public or generic data. This gives your business a defensible, intentional framework.
Setting up that AI-free workspace means actively designing a restricted data room. This isn't just making a new folder. It's a dedicated client space restricted to named users only, with a clear no GNA naming convention. Most importantly, you have to go in and administratively disable the AI assistants and search functions, so materials are literally never opened through those AI side panels.
And here is a really cool, practical trick. Within platforms like Google Drive, if the owner disables the ability to download, copy, or print a file, the AI assistant cannot access that file even if it's shared with the user. That is a highly effective, built-in control for protecting client confidentiality right inside the tools you already pay for.
Now, to leverage AI for efficiency without breaking trust, you have to build a habit of rigorous manual sanitization. You create sanitized working notes by manually stripping out client names, emails, and proprietary details before any document is allowed to cross over into an AI-enabled folder. It definitely takes discipline, but it's what keeps your data safe.
Which leads us right into Section 4, Intentional Use and Governance. Having those zones is great, but governing the vendor tools interacting within them requires real professional discipline. Before you adopt any new SaaS tool, you've got to interrogate your tech stack. Does the product use generative AI? Can it be disabled? Is client data used for training? What about support logs? Knowing exactly what a vendor does with your data is a massive consulting and trust asset for your business.
But we also can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We must clearly distinguish in our contracts between prohibited generative AI processing, like reasoning and semantic search, and standard security operations. You can't ban malware scanning or backups just because they use machine learning. Your policies have to reflect the difference between a chat assistant and a necessary security firewall.
And hey, mistakes happen, right? So what if something slips through? You need an incident response mini policy for accidental exposure. Stop using the output immediately, record what was shared, determine the exposure, notify the client if you need to, and fix the permissions. Even if you never have to use it, just having a documented incident response plan proves your operational maturity to your clients. You're the adult in the room. I absolutely love this framing. The new professional discipline is not never use AI, it is knowing exactly where AI is allowed to breathe. It elevates the standard from fantasy-level compliance, pretending AI doesn't exist, to realistic, defensible, and intentional governance. It's all about control, not avoidance.
Let's bring it all home with Section 5, the brilliantly agentic conversation.
Quick reality check as we wrap up. While we've touched heavily on contracts and clauses today, this explainer is for general business discussion only. It is not legal advice. This conversation is purely about your business strategy, your operational maturity, and how you design your workflows.
This is where organizations can really rely on frameworks, like those from eunoiaAI, to use these tools without losing control. Instead of rushing to say, hey, we use AI everywhere, your actual competitive advantage is demonstrating boundaries, showing that you can intentionally use AI to be incredibly efficient while maintaining flawless, client-aware data boundaries. That is what builds lasting partnerships.
So I want to leave you with a final thought, something to spark a real conversation with your own team today. Do you know exactly where AI is allowed to breathe in your business workflows? Have you truly mapped out your data boundaries? Or are you just relying on an outdated, fundamentally flawed no AI illusion?
Thanks for hanging out with us for this first explainer in the Brilliantly Agentic series. Remember, it is so much easier to establish operational trust today than it is to try and retrofit it later. Start having these conversations now. This has been Beautiful Thinking for the Age of Intelligent Systems, brought to you by eunoiaAI. We'll see you next time.